Lannister, Baratheon, Stark, Tyrell. They're all just spokes on a wheel. This one's on top, then that one's on top, and on it spins, crushing those on the ground. I'm not going to stop the wheel. I'm going to break the wheel.
Stannis Baratheon has an army at Castle Black. He means to take the north.
This is the time, and I will risk everything. Winter is coming. We know what's coming with it.
We can learn to live with the wildlings. Or we can add them to the army of the dead.
You are the few, and we are the many. We serve the gods, and the gods demand justice.
Clean this city out. So the rats have nowhere left to hide.
I am a queen, not a butcher.
All rulers are either butchers or meat.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my breakdown of the new Game of Thrones footage. They premiered it to announce their new HBO Now service, so I'll explain what's going on with that after I get through the breakdown. And new round of the giveaway starts now. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this video. It's just a copy of the Season 4 DVD. So here we go. So we open up on King's Landing. There's actually a good shot of Baelor Sept right there in the middle, rising above everything else. It's nice foreshadowing for the power shift in King's Landing with the coming of the High Sparrow. Cersei on her way to see the High Sparrow, probably for the first time. Most of this footage is from the first couple of episodes, with a few exceptions. He lives in and around Baelor Sept. If you remember A Day in the Life special that they aired, they talked about filming it in his special sets. The High Sparrow doesn't live in luxury like a lot of the previous High Septons. So the area around Baelor Sept is pretty humble, and he uses those resources in and around there to feed the poor. As you can tell, he's not going to be a big fan of Lannister gold. Daenerys' narration goes across a lot of these opening scenes. When she's talking about breaking the wheel, she's talking about breaking the Game of Thrones, where she's like Stark, Baratheon. It's a cycle that goes on, crushing those on the ground. She's talking about the peasantry. It crushes the peasantry. She's going to spend a lot of time in Meereen trying to help the slaves, but it draws a nice link between her and what the High Sparrow is trying to do. They have very different methods, but they're both trying to help the least fortunate, which I think is kind of interesting. Whenever I was reading the books, I never really thought of Daenerys as being like the High Sparrow, but I like that the trailer points us in that direction. Here we have Stannis Baratheon up at the wall. It looks like they're getting ready to sacrifice someone. It looks like Melisandre is getting ready to burn someone at the stake. There's a later shot of Selyse Baratheon, like almost crying on the snowy ground, so it might have something to do with her, maybe not, because it doesn't look like those scenes happen sequentially. Remember, they have Shireen Baratheon at the wall, so they might be substituting her for one of the other characters from the books, but she also went to the wall in the books too, so they could just be adapting her part straight off the page. But Typically what Dan and Dave do is they'll give certain characters storylines that they're not doing, that they don't include, to other characters that they've already cast from previous seasons. Here's Sansa up towards the north of the Eyrie. It looks like you can see a banner from House Aaron in the background. Isn't it awesome how she's starting to look more and more like Catelyn? Here's Arya with her coin. Since she's in a stone room lying down, it looks like she might be inside the House of Black and White at this point. This is an old shot of Marjorie from the previous trailer with the Queen of Thorns. It looks like this might be connected with the Loras clip that's later in the trailer. We see Loras getting dragged away from a trial with the High Sparrow. He, being a very religious man, probably doesn't look very kindly on some of the rumors about Sir Loras. As the audience, and especially in the books, we have a lot more information about what all the characters are doing. So it's always funny to see characters speculate about each other. Like when people talk about Sir Loras being gay, like they think he is, but they're not quite sure. Like they never caught him in the act. But obviously as the audience, we know exactly what's going on. Same goes for Cersei with the twincest and sleeping around just in general. Despite the rumors, she has not slept with the entire population of King's Landing. And no, not all of them are related to her. Maybe a little bit though. Maybe a little bit. This is Daenerys meeting with Hizdahr. Interesting that right after that we get a shot of these masked people fighting with the Unsullied. I think this kind of answers the question as to who they are. So I think these are the Sons of the Harpy. A lot of people thought they might be the Brazen Beasts. the Brazen Beasts are actually a group that Daenerys forms. The Sons of the Harpy are her enemies. Since we see them rushing Daznak's pit later in the trailer, I think that's also confirmation. So people in the masks equal not good. Since this is followed directly by a Tyrion Varys scene, it's possible that they could go straight to Meereen, but I think they go to Pentos first, based on the scene where Varys is explaining to Tyrion the plan that he has, like what he wants him to do. So this could be either of those places. Here's Tommen and Marjorie's wedding. Looks like Cersei is super happy to see Marjorie join the family. She's really clinging to Tommen this season. The funny thing is Marjorie doesn't seem super sinister. Like, she just wants the Iron Throne. It's not like she wants to hurt Tommen. She doesn't want to kill him. Cersei starts to flip a little. So as bad as she is, she wants to hold on to her family, and Myrcella is still in Dorne. So Tommen is like the last thing that she has. I'll be really interested to see if Jaime behaves the same way he does during book 4. If you have read the books, just use spoiler text if you want to comment on his and Cersei's relationship and the way it changes. It reminds me of this really awesome Princess Leia quote when she's talking to Grand Moff Tarkin. The more you tighten your grasp, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. These people in black robes are the Faith Militant in King's Landing. They're getting rid of all the debaucherous stuff. Like I said, High Sparrow, not a huge fan of the trappings of wealth. Here's a shot of Daenerys in Daznak's pit. More fighting between the Unsullied and the Sons of the Harpy. Here's Jon Snow leading a force up to Hardhome. His narration kind of explains what he's trying to do. When he's talking about the Army of the Dead, I know it sounds like he's talking about the Brotherhood and Stannis' army, but I think he's also trying to prevent them from joining the literal Army of the Dead, as in the Army of the White Walkers. So technically he's trying to help them, but it doesn't look like they want to be helped. Here's Tyrion, who looks like he sees Drogon flying over his ship. There was the poster that they released with Drogon hanging over him, but it's hard to tell if that was actually going to happen or if that was just something that they mashed together, like the lion meets the dragon. Tyrion spends a lot of time reading about dragons all across the book, so I'll be interested to see how they explore that on the TV show. A lot of the time that we see him doing that is part of the Young Griff story, and that looks like it's pretty much been cut out. I know a lot of you are commenting that Drogon doesn't look like he got a lot bigger, but I think the time jump is just much shorter. Usually, like, the first episode of each new season picks up in the moments after the finale from the previous season. So like when we see Arya, for instance, she was like the last moment in season 4. That first episode will probably feature her on the ship. Like, we won't just see her in Braavos already. This is newly up-jumped Ramsay Bolton with Miranda. If you don't remember Miranda, she was the one with Ramsay chasing the other girl in season 4, like when they were hunting humans for sport. She seems like she's kind of an evil girl, but I don't know if she's enjoying this or not. It's hard to tell. Ramsay's all over the place. It seems like she's going to have a bigger part this season. They might give her the fake Arya plot from the books. This blew my mind the first time I saw it because it looks like Sansa is in the Stark family crypts underneath Winterfell. And remember, the Boltons were heading to Winterfell, so if Sansa is also in Winterfell, that's like a big WTF. Later in the trailer, it even seems like there are House Aaron guards, like the ones that are riding around with her and Littlefinger entering Winterfell. So Littlefinger might have some sort of plot to ally himself with the Boltons as part of some grand scheme that he's concocting. But if you read the books, you know what he's planning to do with Sansa. Here's some early shots of the fighting pits. Because we stay on this character right here with the helmet on, this might be Ser Jorah. Like, this might be his start in the fighting pits. He appears throughout the trailer. This shot of Melisandre is really awesome too. It looks like she is taken aback, so this might be some sort of associated White Walker scene. They haven't appeared in the trailers yet, hoping to see them in the third trailer. There's usually like 3 trailers before the season starts. Anything that makes Melisandre make that face makes me really excited. This is Stannis mapping flayed men troop locations, Bolton troop locations. The awesome thing is that we get narration from Roose Bolton in the background. It's not Stannis talking. I'll be interested to see if they take this to its logical conclusion and we see a Bolton versus Stannis fight. That would definitely be Winds of Winter territory. Here's more shots from the wildlings up at Hardhome fighting Jon and his forces. This is really fun. In the synopsis for the first episode, it says Brienne and Pod run into some trouble, but this actually looks like it happens later, like they're caught in the snowstorm. So it looks like they're traveling slowly further north. They might be heading for Winterfell, it's hard to tell. We see Pod here caught between Brienne, who's getting ready to take someone down. It's hard to tell who it is exactly they run into that gives them trouble. It could be the Brotherhood without banners. It could be House Aaron men. Here's a really awesome line. The High Sparrow says, "The gods demand justice." It's basically him saying that he's getting ready to start a holy war. Not necessarily against Daenerys or anybody outside Westeros, but against corruption as he sees it inside King's Landing, inside the realm. Which is bad news for anyone who does anything that the church does not approve of. Here's the Sand Snakes in Dorne, just doing some training. I'd say of all the places in Season 5, all the new locations, Braavos and Dorne are the 2 that I'm looking forward to the most. Here's a better shot of Jaime and Bronn fighting the Dornish soldiers. These are scenes from the previous trailer, just from different angles. Daenerys in bed with Daario. And then here's just a really awesome self-explanatory shot of Daenerys watching Drogon fly off the top of the pyramid. He's the only one that isn't caged up. If he'd have been around at the end of season 4, Daenerys would have had to chain him up underneath the pyramid too. But because he was off flying around like he was too big to contain, he remained free. So he's continued to grow, where the other dragons are still a little bit smaller. But if you're wondering, I definitely think he's strong enough to carry her. I mean, Daenerys is a pretty small person to begin with. So HBO Now stuff, it looks like it's going to be available at the beginning of April. It's going to be on Apple platforms in the App Store, and you'd probably be able to watch it on that website too, hbonow.com. But you guys will really love this. So here's the subscription details. It's $15 a month. The first month, like whenever you sign up for the service, the first month is free. So that $15 that you pay is for the second month. Because it's so cheap, what I'm probably going to do is whenever I start giving away subscriptions, I'll give away like 2 per giveaway. Don't forget too, I also have the signed copies of A Feast for Crows and Dance with Dragons. That'll be part of my episode 1 giveaway. So that'll be like April 12th, whenever I post my episode 1 video. Really, I'm just happy about this HBO Now service, just because it means everybody can watch it at the same time. I'm assuming what they're going to do is they'll make episodes available when they first air on television, like across all platforms simultaneously. So my next bonus video is going to be a character video. I'll post that next Sunday. Be sure to subscribe to get it if you haven't already. Feel free to leave requests. I have settled on a couple characters I want to do videos for, but I'm always open to suggestion. If you haven't seen them already, you can click here for my breakdown of the first 3 episodes, and you can click here for my Sansa video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tonight. Now let's all do the thing.